Glory to Ukraine. Today marks the 4-year anniversary of Russia's invasion into Ukraine. And I believe that in the world today, we don't have a stronger champion of democracy and of human decency that better exemplifies those qualities as Ukraine and Ukrainians do. And many experts thought that Russia would take Ukraine over in 2 weeks, just like the Taliban took over Afghanistan after the United States left. But Ukraine has held the line for 4 years, and there have been so many people who have died. Russia keeps targeting Ukraine's civilians in civilian cities. That's not what Ukraine is doing. Ukraine is defending itself. Everybody talks about all the different solutions and the concessions. You know what the quickest and the easiest solution would be? It would be for Putin to withdraw his meat grinding army and go back home. Because and many have said this, if Russia stops and walks away, it is the end of the war. If Ukraine stops defending and walks away, that is the end of Ukraine and not the end of the war. Because Vladimir Putin is not going to stop with Ukraine. He's going to go after the other countries that were part of the Soviet Union before the Soviet Union fell apart. So today is a prayer from me and a hope that this year, as soon as possible, Ukraine will be restored to peace and will be able to start rebuilding. And I hope that Europe will come to understand that Donald Trump's regime is not going to help Ukraine in any way. It's been over a year that Donald Trump has been in office, and he has always passed the buck or made excuses or blamed Zelensky for Ukraine's position and condition right now. When the truth is, the fault lies with Putin because he attacked a neighbor unprovoked, because he broke the treaty between the security guarantee that they had signed along with Ukraine and the United States and I believe Britain, and Russia broke that agreement and invaded Ukraine anyway. Had that security guarantee not been made in the early 90s, Ukraine would be the third largest, would have the third largest arsenal of nuclear weapons, which they gave up because of the security guarantees. So, before I go, I wanted to pay homage to the 27,000 Ukrainian civilians who have died. There are no words for their bravery, for sticking around there, for holding the ground, for going down to the basement, going down to the metro stations, the subways, and wait out the bombings that are happening almost every day, every week. 27,000 plus Ukrainian civilians have died. 16,000 have been captive, have been held captive, and 40,000 have been wounded. On the Russian side, about 400 civilians have died, and about 1,000, that includes the Crimean invasion that happened in 2014. There are many sources that are providing information about how many people are casualties of war, and the Ukrainian military, the sources vary from 200,000 killed to 55,000 killed. So it's between 55,000 and 200,000 killed in the Ukrainian military, and there are over 60,000 missing, between 60 and 90,000 missing, and between 4,500 and 8,000 that have been captured who are part of the Ukrainian military. On the flip side, Putin's meat-grinding army that is decimating Russia's own young male population this war has killed between 300,000 and 1.5 million Russians in the Russian military. And these sources vary from BBC Russia to The Economist, and there's really no specific telling of what the damage is, the casualties are, but they are massive. When the lower end is 300,000 military personnel who have died, and with the Ukrainian military, the upper limit is about 200,000 who have died. That's a massive amount of people who are going into this military, into this war and dying. The paramilitary for the Russian military, about 350,000 deaths from paramilitary, and North Korean troops have also died fighting for Russia, and North Korea says about 350. The United Kingdom estimates that number to be about 6,000. So it's mind-boggling numbers. It's happening in a war that is regional in its theatrical presence, but it has a fallout across Europe and in the United States. And the United States is not going to help Ukraine as long as Donald Trump sits in the Oval Office. So Ukraine needs to bind together with Europe and come up with solutions to oust Russia from their lands. Like, EU needs to take the step. EU needs to take the big step forward in helping Ukraine in a full-fledged manner, and for France to provide the nuclear umbrella that the United States would threaten to take away if EU becomes more assertive with their defense of Ukraine. It's a geopolitical hot mess, and my heart breaks for the people, the civilians, the Ukrainian civilians, the thousands of Ukrainian civilians who have been killed or held captive or are wounded because of Putin's demonic attacks on civilian population of Ukraine. With that said, again, glory to Ukraine and kudos to your bravery and your gumption and the strength of your will to not let your democracy die. Thank you on behalf of every single person who believes in democracy and in the rule of law. And I will talk to you soon.